Well, hello there, guys. Welcome back to End All Wars. I know we don't update this series quite regularly, but that's really because this is an Age Odds game. It takes a long time to get through these turns, and I think most of you guys probably want to go ahead and see the turns as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and actually keep a lot of our armies here, especially Karl von Bülow. I'm going to try and build some forts for defense, and if I can't, I'll go ahead and start building depots. We've obviously had a lot of issues in Antwerp. It's so hard to take this city, so I'm actually going to be retreating with some of my men, or I should say advancing in the wrong direction to try and get away from this front line and to safety. Obviously, von Falkenhayn is going to probably stay here a while. I think I'm going to send him out too. We're just not having any luck at Antwerp, and, you know, throwing away hundreds of thousands of men to take it is probably, in my opinion at least, not the greatest idea in the world. One thing I do want to do, though, there are some French here. I want to go ahead and engage them as quickly as possible and move into Luxembourg with one of these generals. I want to take Luxembourg quickly. I'm going to go on the offensive here as well. Now, notice I'm not pushing the front line. I'm just going in the offensive within my actual front line. I think this is going to work out pretty well. I'm not 100% sure it will, but we'll have to see. Let's take a look here. That is a 44% penalty. We definitely don't want that. So let's drop a few more troops into that army. 35%, that's a little bit better. 29%, a little better, but once again, we really have to get this perfect. I don't want to have any sort of penalties here. And obviously, guys, for those of you that are new to Age Odds games, penalties will, of course, decrease the attack of your armies, decrease the way your soldiers are commanded, etc. But incredibly, von Bayern is going to be the only one of our guys to actually move forward into the front and go for the forts at Tours. So let's hope he can do a good job. We've also got some generals here that really haven't seen much action, and it's primarily because I want them to remain defensive. I don't really want to mess too much with this front, although now that the enemy's looking weak over here, I'm tempted to try and take the forts of Belfort, although I'm sure I'm going to regret that, so let's stay away from those forts for now. We're going to move over here and take a look at our East Prussian front, where, of course, the glorious, and I really think he's right now our best general, Karl von Hindenburg, is holding out at Königsberg, just basically trying to rebuild that army. His men have killed so many Russians. I would put it in upwards of 300,000, 400,000 soldiers, so we really want to continue fighting with him. We've got this army over here, and I'm actually thinking we can move von Mackensen over here to the front lines and possibly start attacking these Russian troops. As you guys can imagine, the Russians have been pushing through Austria-Hungary quite a lot here, and we're doing everything we can to stop them. We've got a few armies here just basically waiting, but look at these Russian armies. I mean, this is unbelievable. 3,345 men. It's crazy. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do a little counterattack on the Russians because they've been taking way too much land. I'm hoping this is going to work out. We're trying to get more and more troops up on the front, but it's easier said than done. It really, really is. I'm going to move this general forward as well. We'll take... the trains aren't really going to help, but what the hell. And, of course, we'll be on the assault. We're still trying to get the Romanians to join us. And while that hasn't happened and probably won't, we're going to keep on trying. Now let's get to the Serbian front. And here we've actually managed to take some cities, but we haven't taken the main one, Belgrade. So we're going to be probably attacking Belgrade here with massive offensives. Don't forget that last turn we also unlocked the research into gas warfare, so I'm hoping we can use that this turn. I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to. Let's jump over here to the front lines with the British and the Russians, and I think mainly there's a lot of Russian divisions over here that we have to deal with, a lot of Russian land we have to take, and we just don't have the strongest manpower here. So I'm going to see if I can't possibly build a depot. If not, we're going to have to rethink how we deal with this situation. We'll bring this guy forward as well, the 44th Corps. 104 days, that's how long it takes, and we don't have the rail capacity to move every single one of our troops. Even here with the rails, it's going to take 94 days for these Turks to get to the border with Russia. So I think we need to change our tactics, and if you have any ideas, let me know down below. Of course, we've got some troops over here at Gallipoli, basically just holding down the area. We know eventually the enemy's probably going to try to come through here. And over here, let's take a look at the Palestinian front. And this is where we stand a slight chance of winning, but we've got to get back, get some more reinforcements, and probably get some more men. In fact, we'll send these infantrymen down. Hopefully they can assist there and just keep on fighting, basically. this is a tough fight no matter how you look at it. So I'm actually going to take a look here at other information. I want to get some troops to the Turks, so I'm actually going to go ahead. It's costing us money that we really don't have, but what can you do? We'll try to get some troops to the Germans as well, some militia even, and of course to the Austro-Hungarians. Unfortunately, we just don't have the cash to be throwing it around left and right here, so I'm really having to test out stuff here. We're getting some field artillery. That I like. Let's see if we could do the same with our Germans. No, I don't think so. We're going to move right here, and we haven't unlocked anything here. But we've already funded research into gas. Now I'm going to fund research into infantry. I don't think we have enough state funds to actually do this. And actually, it's hard for me because I'm using the recording device on Bandicam, and I can't see how much cash I have. I checked before, and we were at 500. Now I'm sure we're way down there. But I'm hoping this is going to make a bit of a difference. We also can't forget that the Bulgarians, we've got to try to get the Bulgarians on our side. I want to see how they feel right now. So they're actually going towards the Entente. What about the Romanians? Let's see if the Romanians are getting anywhere closer to joining us. And 83% is pretty good, but, you know, it's not going to win us any medals. So I'm going to go ahead. We do have one diplomat, but unfortunately this diplomat can't really go anywhere. So I guess we're going to just have to wait. We'll put him down, and we'll jump over here to the Western Front. And I'm going to see if I can use any of these decisions in any of our current struggles. So we could bomb a fort, munitions factory, concessions, absolutely not. And chlorine gas, that's what we're looking for. So we finally got the use of gas. I'm going to be dropping this right there. I hope it works. So we're going to be dropping chlorine gas on this army. And actually, I think I will take von Bülow and move forward on an attack. So a lot of offensive is going on here, guys. Actually, let's leave von Bülow right here. Let's hope that the gas alone does some damage. It probably should, but we really don't know. If they attack, it definitely will. And let's go ahead and end this turn, guys. Of course, as with all of our To End All Wars videos, we will come back when we're actually starting the enemy's next turn, because there is that waiting period, which takes quite a while, and hopefully we'll see some major battles. Alright, guys, that's it. Let's take a look. Alright guys, it begins, and I'm curious to see what the movement is going to be like here. I'm actually starting to think we should have used that chlorine gas attack in Russia, or actually on our Austrian front with Russia, because there are so many Russians there. I'm guessing upwards of 600,000 to 1 million soldiers. It's just a huge amount of men. If we could find some way to cut them off, that would be a tremendous victory for the Central Powers, but right now we're just kind of trying to survive. As you can see, some British armies are arriving at Mons and other locations. And here we go, guys. Our attack into the French lines is a victory at Briey. Looks like we lost equal amounts of men, more or less. We managed to kill a lot of men in the Irish division and the Division Territoriale. But as you can see here, 163,000 men. We outnumber them, 351,000. So for those numbers, that's actually a pretty... Not too bad a number. Now here we did lose with our Turks, but they're fairly new to this kind of combat, and we managed to kill 4,124 British troops. Of course, they're pushing us out of Palestine, or excuse me, Egypt in this case, very quickly, but I hope to get back fairly soon. Remember, we were sending that guy back for reinforcements anyway, so the fact that we killed a few more of the enemies makes me feel a little bit better. Again, it's not a victory, but it's something. This front looks very interesting over here. They're definitely switching up their generals here near the forts of Nancy and south of it at Epinal. I really am curious to see what they're going for. All right, Montmedy. Let's see. So we are attacking with a few more troops, guys. This is definitely our first major offensive in about 2 to 3 episodes. We've been trying to play defensively, but now we're going on the attack. And really not going on the attack in terms of advancing, just going on the attack in terms of attacking any troop or any army within our borders. And at that point, we can maybe move forward and start doing offensive actions into enemy territory. Alright, they can see that we're moving some of our forces into the northern Austro-Hungarian area. We're not going to give up that easily. Also, don't forget, guys, to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate all sorts of historical related comments or comments related to the game. And if you guys like this series, make sure to check out the playlist and watch the entire series. We spent a lot of time working on this one, and I'm quite proud of it. So let's see if we can't get some more support for it. Obviously, AGOD's not for everybody. It's a pretty complex strategy game. But I know there are those of you out there that appreciate this series, so make sure to show your love, hit that like button, and of course, do the old subscribe thing. Here we go. Reinforcements have arrived in Suez, so they're getting some reinforcements to the Suez Canal, and it's pretty obvious that if we want to attack Egypt, we're going to have to bring more men. And right now, our Turks, for some reason, they have a lot of generals, but not that many troops. We need to maybe merge some armies together, get one large army, and head down there. But I'm not sure if it's going to work. And once again, the Japanese keep harassing our colonies in Africa, which I find quite funny that they've played such a large part in the war here, managing to actually win a naval battle on about day 2 of the war. Now we're in late January of 1915, guys, so we've already gotten past 1914. But really my goal here, playing as the Central Powers, is not easy. My goal is to basically just survive as long as I can and win, but I don't think that's going to be as achievable as the latter. We're going to have to see here. Okay, here we go. Almay has arrived in Verdun. We could be getting the first Battle of Verdun here very soon. We certainly have enough troops to make it fairly realistic. And when the game takes this long to actually, move from turn to turn, you could tell there's a lot of information being passed through the PC because there's so many different things going on. We've even got a British medical corps here near a German army. We might engage them, and this general is going to be known for shooting British doctors, but whatever works, I suppose. We need to take this area. As you guys see, we've totally moved away from Antwerp. I'm just going to let it kind of stay there for a while. And a few people gave a very good suggestion, which is with Antwerp, basically just to move our troops out, reinforce our armies, and wait for them to leave. If that doesn't work, I really don't know what else we're going to do. Maybe we need to cut the rails. It's going to be an interesting situation, to say the least. And they're not really getting support from anywhere because we have the rails, but somehow they're remaining very strong in that fort. More British expeditionary forces here. That's not something I like to see at all. And as you can see, our general there, I believe it's von Pleyen, is attacking. The enemy has some British expeditionary forces here and French forces. This may not be the greatest idea, but we've got to try to push. We can't just stay static the entire time. There's got to be advances along the line. That's just the way it's got to be for us to get a victory. So I'm hoping that he's going to do well, but it's looking a little creepy here. As you can see, a lot of enemy troops in that area. Hopefully we deal with it well, but more than likely we're going to get shot down pretty badly. Oh, the enemy's retaken a little part here of Belgium in Sedan. I don't like that. And as you can see, more Russian forces arriving from the mainland. So it's not even like this is their core army. They still have more on the way. I thought for sure that was it. That's all they had. But here in Galicia, they have a lot of men. And the only other thing I could think of doing, which we already tried and which would just take too long, is to basically get behind their lines and take a bunch of land. If you guys look to the west, we've got Tomaszów, Glice, Radomsk. We've taken a lot of areas and cut off some rails even, but I don't think we've cut off enough to take away supplies from this army. They're still getting plenty of supplies from up north, so we're going to have to do something about that, guys, because that gets more and more dangerous every single day. Here we go. We've got the blockade box. So they're blockading the Atlantic. We've got to maybe get a battleship there to deal with that. We're probably still getting supplies from the States because the States have not chosen a side in this war, and actually they're quite in support of us. Here we go. The Russian attack begins again. on the Austrian front. I'm hoping we can at least take their numbers down significantly. If we can take some of their numbers down, that's a good start. It looks like they were pretty even casualties, though. 33,000 dead on the enemy side, 32,000 on our side, and it was a very rainy day here in the hills. Unfortunately, not the result we were looking for, but we've got to try everything in our bag of tricks to try to beat the Russians here. Once again, another Russian attack. This time our army is even weaker, and that Russian army is just always massive. And this time we lost 15,000, the enemy 22,755. So they're losing a lot of men, but look at that number, 549, guys. We haven't seen an army that big in this entire campaign. Over here, a Turkish defeat at Gole, and a really nasty one too. The enemy managing to kill 8,000. These Russians know how to deal with the Turks, but do they know how to deal with the Germans if we bring in maybe a German army to assist the Austro-Hungarians? I don't know if we could take one to relieve the area, but we could certainly try. And over here at Sankamish, we were beaten as well. The Turkish lines that we have are just not as strong as we expected. It's good to have them on our side, but they need to be much better fighters at this point. Wow, look at that area. 2,609 attack power for the British artillery. That has got to be a nasty spot to attack. So we're going to try to be as careful as possible. Here we go. Another, this time we're in Belgrade. We were trying to advance, and this is what happens when we advance on Belgrade. 33,000 men dead on our side. They only lost about 2,500 men. The Serbs are very good at defense, and they've held Belgrade without any issues whatsoever for a long, long time. It looks like nobody actually took our bait, so they didn't actually move across the front here, the French. They're just kind of reinforcing their lines, so I wonder what's going to happen next. We're processing day 15 of 15. Still a few Russian troops trying to cross the border, and in fact a few Russian troops going after our Turkish armies as well, if you can call them that. There's like no men in them. We're going to have to figure out an alternative here, guys. Okay, new turn ready. I believe that's me, indeed. So we're going to have to sort of figure out what to do here. But I hope you guys enjoyed that turn. As always, I should say, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a view of the casualties so far, so we can take a look. And as you can see, we've lost 1,106,000 men. We have a tremendous amount of prisoners here. Now, the enemy has lost 745,000 for the Western Entente, 441,000 for the Eastern Entente. As you can see, it still remains extremely dangerous here. We've got 7,367 victory points, so technically, we have more victory points right now than both sides. That doesn't mean we're winning. Well, it means we're winning now, but it doesn't mean we're going to win the campaign. So we definitely need your suggestions, your opinions, your feedback, and your support, guys, on this series, and I hope to get it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care, and have an awesome, awesome day, and of course, as always, glory to the Kaiser.